Do you ever wonder where we go after this? Are you high right now? Do you ever get nervous?
Welcome back to Modern Investing Techniques, episode 87 for June 25th, 2026. I'm Patrick, coming to you from Vancouver. Here's your daily market intelligence and today's practice trade. Quick reminder, everything we discuss here is for education and entertainment. The practice investment of the day uses simulated trades with no real money. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. Always do your own research before putting real money to work. Micron's AI-driven surge is lifting NASDAQ futures 2%, giving Canadian TFSA investors requires a potential entry signal into semiconductor exposure ahead of any sector rotation. The S&P 500 sits at 7,358, down 0.1%. The NASDAQ Composite is at 25,477, down 0.4%. The TSX Composite stands at 34,736, down 0.5%. Sentiment is being lifted by Micron's upbeat AI outlook that eased chipmaker concerns, while oil prices continue to erase prior gains as more tankers transit the Strait of Hormuz. The Bank of Canada's next decision is due in mid-July, with markets pricing in steady rates. Tech is leading the week's moves on AI momentum. AI momentum investing uses real-time sentiment and HEA earnings revision data to ride sector leadership rather than chasing broad indexes. Today's Micron surge on AI demand shows how individual investors can apply this by screening for companies with both positive earnings revisions and volume spikes above the 20-day average. Platforms like Wealthsimple or Questrade let users set alerts on those metrics, then size positions at 3 to 5% of a TFSA to limit drawdowns. The approach has historically worked best in the early stages of new technology cycles, when volume confirms the move. It carries the risk of sharp reversals if guidance disappoints. Canadian investors can implement it by pairing a US-listed AI name with a CAD-hedged ETF wrapper to manage currency exposure. This is the exact scenario where our earlier rule about volume confirmation would have helped avoid premature entries. This is a simulated trade for educational purposes only. Today's practice investment is MU, Micron Technology, on the NASDAQ. The strategy is an AI momentum entry on the earnings revision catalyst with volume confirmation. The catalyst is Micron's AI demand outlook that lifted chip sector sentiment and pushed NASDAQ futures higher by 2%. The technical setup shows the stock positioned above its 50-day moving average, with volume expected to exceed the 20-day average on today's move. Nearest resistance sits near recent highs. Risk assessment notes that a reversal in AI spending guidance could trigger a 5 to 8% pullback, so the mental stop sits below the 20-day average. The target requires entry only on confirmed volume spike and RSI holding above 50. Confidence level is medium because of the strong fundamental catalyst and sector momentum, yet the setup still lacks today's closing price confirmation per existing rules. This setup demonstrates waiting for both a fundamental catalyst and volume confirmation before committing capital. Yesterday's trade review covers the ION hold. Market data was unavailable for evaluation, so we skipped the assessment. The new rule requires closing price confirmation before declaring any catalyst trade complete. That lesson comes directly from the ION case, where we could not measure whether the leadership change catalyst produced any excess return. Benzinga Pro lets users filter high short interest names and defensive stocks in real time using custom criteria such as volume surges and sector rotation signals. Canadian TFSA users can access the free tier for basic scans or upgrade for real-time alerts. Interactive Broker's Trader Workstation Scanner identifies stocks crossing above their 50-day moving average on elevated volume. The tool runs directly inside the platform with no extra cost for commission-free accounts. If today's momentum strategy interests you, these scanners are exactly how you would surface setups like MU. NASDAQ futures jumped 2% as AI outlook from Micron eased concerns. The move followed Micron's positive commentary on artificial intelligence demand that lifted multiple chip stocks at once. Futures pricing reflected immediate relief across the semiconductor group after weeks of softer sentiment. The same catalyst also supported Qualcomm shares in early trading. Canadian investors tracking the development can monitor the semiconductor ETF wrapper on Wealthsimple to gauge follow-through volume. Any sustained advance will depend on whether additional chipmakers echo Micron's outlook in the days ahead. Evercore ISI upgraded Canadian National Railway stock rating on volume momentum. Strong freight volume trends prompted the upgrade and highlighted improving fundamentals in Canadian industrials. The rating change reflects data showing consistent cargo movement across key rail corridors. CNR shares have responded to the volume confirmation by holding near recent session highs. Investors holding the name inside an RRSP can review current position size against the 50-day moving average before considering any addition. The upgrade arrives at a time when broader industrial names on the TSX have shown mixed volume patterns. BTIG cut Nike stock price target to $55 on China headwinds. Persistent softness in the Chinese market continues to pressure the company's growth outlook and has reduced near-term visibility. The revised target reflects lower expected revenue contribution from that region over the coming quarters. NKE shares have traded below key technical levels in recent sessions as a result. Holders evaluating exposure can watch whether the stock closes beneath its 200-day moving average this week before deciding on any trim. The downgrade serves as a reminder that consumer discretionary names remain sensitive to regional demand shifts. Wall Street trading is set to surge as the Russell 1000 index adds SpaceX and small cap stocks. The upcoming index changes will increase trading volume around mega cap names like SpaceX and force rebalancing flows across multiple funds. Inclusion of additional small cap constituents will also generate mechanical buying and selling at the rebalance date. Market makers have already begun positioning for the higher turnover expected in the affected securities. Investors holding USD cash can keep balances ready until after the rebalance window to potentially capture short-term volatility. The shift illustrates how index methodology updates create temporary liquidity events that are independent of company fundamentals. The source for these details is theglobeandmail.com. Total trades stand at 38 with a 53% win rate. Cumulative P&L is $396.68. Cumulative alpha versus NASDAQ is plus 24.2% across 27 benchmarked trades. Average return per trade is plus 1.04%. Our AI analysis is learning from the pattern of needing closing price confirmation and adjusting entries accordingly. Imagine you bought a Canadian bank stock last month after a modest earnings beat, expecting quick mean reversion to its 200-day moving average. The order filled at the quoted price, yet the actual mechanics involved checking the company's economic moat, free cash flow consistency, and margin of safety before entry. Buffett evolved from Benjamin Graham's cigar butt bargains to Charlie Munger's quality compounders by focusing on businesses with durable competitive advantages that can reinvest capital at high returns for decades. Key principles include staying inside your circle of competence and demanding a margin of safety on valuation. Modern DIY investors can apply this by running a simple checklist on any TSX name. Does it have pricing power, predictable earnings, and a balance sheet that survives a recession? The biggest misconception is treating Buffett's style as simple value hunting. Instead, always demand evidence of a long-term moat before committing capital. Before we wrap, open your brokerage screener. Filter for NASDAQ tech names with earnings revisions upward in the last 30 days and volume at least 150% of the 20-day average, then add the top 3 results to a dedicated watch list from Monday Review. That's modern investing techniques for today. If you found this useful, share it with a fellow investor and subscribe wherever you listen. Check the resources page for tools and platforms we discussed. We're back tomorrow. Keep learning, keep investing. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at NEH-RA Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the NEH-RA Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets. Each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen. SpaceX Daily, the daily companion for following SpaceX as a public company from Starship to the stock ticker. Find every show free at neh-ranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.
Do you ever wonder where we go after this? Are you high right now? Do you ever get nervous? Do you ever stay awake, counting sheep like all the time? What's your life like? What's your purpose? When's your birthday? What's your sign? Are you down right now? Are you stuck up in the past? Are you still thinking about all the times that you didn't laugh?